Hello and welcome, internet. This is Let's Build Part 9, and today, I'm afraid I lied to you last episode. We're not actually going to build the Great Hall today. I'm going to save that because I'm not exactly sure how I want it to look yet, and I don't want to rush into the Great Hall because it's such a big part of the castle. So what we worked on today is this vast building you can see protruding out the side of the castle here. This is in fact a small amount of living space. This will actually lead on to something I'm very proud to announce. I'll announce it later in the video. This will actually lead on to another part of the castle, so look out for that and we might as well begin. We're just going to quickly open here with a quick pan through the castle. To the left hand side in a few moments, what you see is two new towers I've built off camera. The one on the right isn't finished yet, but the one on the left is, and basically they were built off camera due to the fact that they was done so similarly towards how we built the King's Quarters, is that like I would have felt the episodes were repeating themselves, so I felt I could do it off camera. If there were any drastic changes I would have recorded it, but they're basically different variation of the King's Quarters. As you can see here is my just template of where I'm going to build, and what we're just going to do here, similarly to the Wizard's Tower, is you're just going to see a natural landscape beneath that I've actually created. This was really time consuming and it's just built by just using sporadic pieces of stone. They just, to give it this natural looking effect, it has no logic behind it. So as you can see, there is just this stone base beneath, and basically that's what we're going to put. So it just looks like realistic, it's not just hovering in the air. As with Ether, I don't feel like I need to show you how to fill in rectangles as if by magic. They're just going to appear, because basically I don't like wasting time. These episodes would be so much longer if, you know, I actually showed you building that stone wall. It's just not necessary. You're all an intellectual audience, and I'm sure you know how to fill in things. So what we're doing here is we're in fact just using these upside down stone stairs to give a bit of a texture and variety to the wall. Because what's actually going to happen is we've got one layer, then these stone stairs like widen the tower a little bit, as you can see the walls being built on them. And then what we're going to do is just going to speed this up to save time again. And what we're going to do is so the wall comes out here, but then we're going to do another layer so it'll come out again. It's very hard to describe this kind of build, but basically we're going to come up here and we're going to see, as you can see, using more upside down stone steps to further bring out the wall a second time. So as you can see, just doing that now in the exact same style as before, and just building up a new template to work off. Again, this is we're not gonna show you building every single wall. So what you'll see in a moment is where I'm sure we're just gonna zoom out, and there we go. We'll get this appeared. What we're gonna delete this because I don't want it all to look the same. As you saw at the beginning, it had a very big variation. So what we're gonna use here is the double stone slabs, and we're gonna build quite an outdoorsy top floor. So this one won't be mainly, because it's living quarters. This entire building is that this top floor won't be used for actually bedding. So as you see, just using the upside down like walled effect and these stone walls just to create this overall like windowed wall basically. As you can see, that's just been repeated across every single part of the top floor. And now on this underfloor, what we're actually going to build is traditional medieval windows. So I'm just going to protrude them out again with that, and we're going to build them, I believe, is it 5 high or 6? I don't know, your eye might be a little more keen. It was quite a while ago I built these windows. So anyway, I should have remembered, but I'm afraid I forgot, guys. But anyway, basically what we're doing is it's 5 or 6. If you want to repeat it, just have a look which one makes you happy. So just building these windows as standard. Basically, this kind of design will be used throughout the castle because it works well, and continuity is key when making a building like a castle like this look like it all belongs with each other. Because if each building had different massive, like say one had a pink roof and one had a blue roof, it just wouldn't look weird. So as you see here, we're just going to just repeat the same effect and use those stone. You might have just seen me use them stone walls again, just as a little more variation in the shades of grey and a little more texture to the overall wall. What we're just going to do here is just work it inside a little bit, something I don't often do, and I want to show you the insides of this one. So what we're going to do is just use that. I've just built that stone wall there just so I know where the limits of the building are. And so now what we're doing is we're just deleting that. So because this will all be roofed off, that's just going to be accessed into this room now from that main corridor. As you can see, we have this outdoor roof we want to get rid of. Instead of just deleting it, we want that corridor on the inside to look the same. So on the outside of the corridor here, we're just going to wall it off so you can't see it, and people will be none the wiser. So what we're using here is just upside down stone stairs, just to smoothen it off and make it look a little more, a little more professional, really. We're using a stone brick base with a wooden floor, because this isn't going to be the highest class living quarters, but we still want it to be nice. So if you're underneath, you can't see wood above you. We put the stone floor. What we're building here is it's incredible. It's basically the same design windows, except they're going to be a little shorter, these ones. These are about 4 high. So as you can see, they're just a little more stubby, a little smaller, because this floor beneath that we've just built there isn't quite as tall as the floors above it. And this works well. At first I thought, this might not have been a wise move, but actually looking at it, it does look very good. So you're using a stone wall again for the variation, and it does look good with the different styled windowed at the top, and then the different sizes beneath. So now we're gonna just pan around the edge here, and we're actually gonna build some struts, because as you could probably see in there, it was incredibly dark, especially with the shaders mod. So I'm just trying, what I'm doing here is I'm gonna build some windows, some really tall, narrow windows. So it's a hard design to describe, this one. Just bear with me. I'm just gonna take a quick drink of this brew. I'm a traditional British just being. Brew, tea and all that kind of stuff. I'm your stereotypical Brit. But anyway, what we're just doing here is simply, as you can see, using a tall amount of double stone slabs, and then like a half version. It looks particularly good on this side. I really like it on this side where it goes all the way down the cliff edge. I'm afraid I'm gonna have to knock my way through the King's Corridor here. As you see, here's just a quick spiral staircase I've made just like for access. I probably should have recorded that, but I'm afraid I forgot. But now we're just going to do the other side, the inside obviously, so now the light can just flare in from the heavens and the entire room will be lit up, and it won't be this dingy, dark, dungeony area like it looked earlier. So as you can see, just knocking through all of these walls, because who needs walls when you can have windows? It's going to be a little more grand and a little more, So as you see, you know how to fill in windows. And now I'm just adding a few torches just to further light it up, because especially with this shaders, lighting is incredibly difficult to get. So as you see, just doing this symmetrical either side, lining it up with the torches inside the corridor, if you're wondering what I was looking through them windows for. And now I'm just going to knock my way out and look at it from the outside, and as you can see, it adds an incredibly good effect. The light's coming out, it looks good. Now I'm just going to fill off this and put a bit of an overhang on, because I felt that was a nice little detail to add, and it does look quite good in my opinion, just filling it off with those. I'm not actually sure where we're going to go to next, I'm not going to lie to you guys, so we'll just wait and see, and then I'll carry on my over voice of this. There we go. What we're going to do is we're going to do 2 rectangles either side of this, because we're going to build a path through the middle of this room. So the right hand side rectangle and the left hand side one are both going to be filled with stone bricks. Then this middle one that's still left open is actually going to be double stone slabs, again to give that variation of colour. But like we did in the gardens, you might remember, what we're going to do is we're going to raise it down. So what we're going to do is put some steps here, so you'll step down out of the corridor, and then either side we're also going to have steps, because this will just raise the floor down and add a nice little effect, to be honest. So as you see, the same side is going to be done exactly the same way, and now we're just going to have single stone slabs, as you can see, just like this. And it does look and create a really nice effect, to be honest, having the down, like the inward. It just makes it like you can see easily where the pathway is. So now what we're actually going to do, I did say I wanted this place to look quite grand, so as you can see, the darkness is still protruding in the middle here, and that's not something I want it to do. I want it to be nice and lit up. So what we're doing is we're going to create these pillars, because not only these pillars look impressively good, but we're just going to use as well, I'm just quickly going to use, as you can see, I've chosen double stone slabs and the actual pillar, but I'm not sure which one I liked more, but then I decided overall double stone slabs, because they just fit in with the rest of the castle. But anyway, not only do these pillars look really good and aesthetic, but also they fill the room, but also I can hang more torches on them, as you can see, and this will further make sure the room is ample lit. So every single one's been repeated in the exact same way you just saw that first one been built, and as you see, it creates an incredibly good effect. I am hoping to where this hole is have doors leading out to some grounds or something, but at the minute I'm not sure if the grounds are going to be there, so doors haven't yet been put there. So as you can see, we're just waiting really. So we're not gonna put doors in where the little camera's panning to the right a little bit there yet, just in case we don't put grounds there at all. So as you can see, the fronts have just been replicated, and we've done the exact same styles as before, and we're just gonna the floors have also used the exact same style, except this top floor, it's not got wood in it, it's just the stone bricks. So as you can see, just panning through here, we've got the different layers. So as you see where the path goes here, we might put doors in there later on in a later episode. Pardon me. Here, what we're doing is we're putting a second layer on the brick wall, because as you'll see in a minute, we're going to add a quite nice effect, which will require a stone brick layer behind. So, just as you can see, that's just going to fill up on its own. Where I'm knocking this hole now is where I mean the doors will go later if we have stairs going down to some grounds. But now what we're doing is we're going to create some design here, some really good, like, artistic walling, really. This is a very similar design to what was used at the very entrance of the castle in the very first or second episode. So we're just going to show a quick example here. Just fill in some stone there to make it mean I don't have to put it all the way to the ground. And as you can see, like the main entry hall, what we have here is like 2 double stone slab pillars and then a gap in between. It just creates this really nice effect. This is going to be repeated on both sides, and then a window will be put between both pillars. Pardon me, I don't know what's going on. I've just got the burps today, I'm afraid. So just creating this exact same effect either side, and then as if by magic, it'll go all the way up this massive building. So as you can see, that effect's going to be followed up, and now what we're just going to do is we're going to sledgehammer our way through this wall and fill it obviously with windows. This will look particularly good at sunset, because when the sun's coming down over the castles, sunlight will just blare through this window and light up that entire room. So that's just always going to be a nice effect. The way the sun, it rises over the castle and comes, you can see it just coming over the building there. But as you can see now, we've just filled it with windows. And what we're going to create here, at first, you'll see me, I'm going to knock in the shape of a circular kind of shape. And I couldn't decide how big I wanted it, but at first it's not going to be a huge. But I was thinking perhaps we could have a clock tower type thing. But I was thinking, why would the clock be facing away from the castle? Who's that gonna help? So actually, what we decided to do is we just filled it with a big circular window. So as this creates a nice little, a really nice window, but on the other side of the building, in the next episode, we may actually build a clock on the other side, which will be looking into the castle, not out of it. So again, just following the same design that you saw earlier. I do make a mistake here. As you can see, I've got two stones bricks between, not one, so I've just got to quickly like amend my my issue here. So again, just following the exact same design all the way around that's been built on the way up the tower. So just now filling in with the double stone slabs. This obviously creating the windowed effect merged with the windowed effect from below the the sphere. So let's say sphere, it's not sphere, it's a circle. Sphere's a 3D object. So anyway, just creating this. So as you can see now, we created a very nice looking window and filled it in, and now we're just going to have to make sure both windows connect really. So just destroying all this and building it up slowly. And as you can see, just making sure they merge like brilliantly, just like they look natural and they look as if they were meant to be built together. So as you can see, just carrying on the window all the way up again, as you'd expect really, and creating this overall really good effect. Destroy these as well, because we want the windows to also connect up and replace them with double stone slabs. And we're almost done with this huge window, and then we're going to move on to an absolutely drastic, I say drastic, it looks a really good roof, but it was so difficult for me to build. As you can see, I forgot to do that bit there, so just panning back in quickly just to amend more issues. I was really tired making this episode. Like, obviously now it's the next morning. This was yesterday. I actually recorded all the footage you can see in front. So now, as you can see, what we've done is we've got that huge window moving up the building, and what we're actually going to have to move on to now is actually building this grand roof. So what we've used here is a very triangular shape. It goes up 2 each time to make a sharper triangle instead of like a stubby one, and we're going to have the exact same style here. As you can see, it's much bigger on this side due to the further width of the building. It just goes up 2 each time instead of just your average one. and basically creating this huge triangle as you can see in front of you. So these have both been built. They are so time consuming, these. I did not feel like I wanted to show you. And now just building across, connected every single one together with this huge framework. What we're now going to place in on where you see all the gaps is stone stairs, which fills in those gaps and creates this really nice effect. We've also created an overhang that you can see, that you've seen in every other episode, with these double stone slabs. Zoom in here just to see them, and the upside down stairs. Now what we're just going to add in is a few windows around, just because this adds a nice, it just looks good on the outside just to have these windows going in. And it'll also mean when you're in there, more light will obviously light up, because that's going to be a really dark room in there without these, because due to the size of these huge roofs. But they do look so impressive once they're done. I'm so happy with how this this entire living quarters has turned out, really. So as you can see, all the windows have been created on there, and overall we're basically I believe we're basically done. So with us actually finishing the actual build, what I'm just going to leave you with now is a quick pan around. But what we're also going to do is I'm going to show the other side isn't actually yet finished, because that's going to lead on into our next episode. And I'm very proud to announce to what you're going to build next episode, because I feel it's going to be incredibly interesting for you guys to watch, but not only for me to build. So we're just going to pan through this bit that's not finished here will be basically the beginning of next episode, and then the rest of it will be actually, you can see this small hole in the ground, this will actually be the entrance to the castle dungeons.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.